Today's episode is the most sacred one I've ever recorded because I'm not doing it alone. I'm joined by my two children, ages 9 and 11 years old. And we're talking about something that changed all of our lives forever. 3 years ago, their father died by suicide. And today, they get to speak. They get to share who he was to them, what he looked like, what made him laugh, and what they remember about the day they lost their father. This episode is for every parent who's trying to help their child through grief, and every child who needs to know they're not alone. There's no script for this kind of healing, but sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is just talk about it together. I invite you to listen with your heart open. Well, welcome, Mateus. I am so excited that you are open to come on my show and share your gifts because you have so many gifts and you are such a light. And I am so excited for you to share with the world. Here's my first question, all right? First, I want you to just say who you are and how old you are.
I am Mateus Methvin. I am 9 years old. My father passed away by suicide when I was 7 years old. And today we are going to talk about it.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Mateus, all from the heart. So here's the first question I have for you, okay? What do you remember about Dad that you never want to forget?
When he would always carry us on our boogie boards on the beach in the water.
I love that. That was in Maui, right?
Yeah.
And what about some of the memories, the tractor rides at home on the Kubota?
Our dad took us on tractor rides on the Kubota going up the hill, and then we went down the hill too.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Down.
Can you tell us more about who Dad was, his personality?
My dad was depressed, but also very kind, loving, and joyful heart.
Yeah, that's so true. He had a big heart, very generous, right? What did Dad love to do?
My dad loved to watch boxing with his friend Matt and he on every Friday on that day every Friday he would buy a huge box of pizza, brownies, cookies, and cheese sticks.
I love that. They used to love to do that, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. They love to watch those boxing matches. That's for sure. The UFC. Yeah. That's what they used to watch. I remember because Dad loved doing jiu-jitsu as well, right? Yeah. What was he really good at? What was Dad really good at?
He was really good at tickling.
Tickling, yeah.
And also just being generous.
Yeah, he had a big heart. Big heart. And what is one of your favorite memories with Dad?
When it was his last day at the beach with us, I think he helped me build like a sandcastle there, and it was really fun.
It was fun, yeah. And we had gone snorkeling on Lanai, right?
Yep.
Yeah. What kind of fish did we see there?
We saw a trumpet fish. We saw.
Is it the parrotfish? Yeah, the parrotfish. Remember with the beak?
Yeah,
had a beak, and that was really cool. That was fun. Do you ever feel Dad's spirit around you?
sometimes.
Yeah. How does that feel like?
It feels just, I know he's around whenever, like, sometimes my lights flicker and I just feel, and sometimes other times I just feel this big energy around me.
Yeah. Yeah. And he had a big energy, didn't he? Right? He's 6'4", really tall, big energy. I love that. Has he sent you any signs or moments where you just knew he was close? You had mentioned the flickering of the light. Has he done anything else that you remember? I know we have lots of stories, but which one stands out to you?
Oh my goodness. So my friends, it was like um we always like see like reflections and it's like what is that? And then when we had like I had like 3 friends over, Brady, Trace, and I think it was Cade or Jace. And then when we were going there, like looking for our dogs, my dogs, because I didn't know where they went. But she was under the couch. We found her there.
Yeah.
And then we were looking for Rosebud too. So we got our Nerf guns and then we went into the movie room because it's the last place that she went, and we started to find stuff, and then we were looking for clues. so then we so then the lights flickered, and then we all were like, ah, and went upstairs.
Dad likes to play with electricity, doesn't he? Right? Yeah. He shows off his powers.
Ooh, and when we were about to watch a movie, like it goed to Minions. Like it switched over to Hulu. We didn't have Hulu, and it goed to Minions. It did that 3 times. And on the last one, we put the remote in the drawer, and nobody was near it. And it still did that.
That's right. I remember we were watching church on TV, and then it got switched like 3 times. And nobody touched the remotes. We're like, well, what's going on here? And then he was playing with the TV and switching channels and everything. And so, how does that make you feel? Does it make you feel comforting to know that even though we miss him physically, does that help you to know he's still there, right? When we have those things happen, it's kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he is still there and has never left, right?
Yeah.
His spirit, for sure. So what's one thing that's really helped your heart on hard days? Like, is it breath work, cold plunging, being in nature, your dog, or using the calming corner?
My dog.
Your dog.
Definitely.
What do you call Lego? What do you call her?
A big ball of energy.
A big ball of good energy, right? I love that. And it's so true. I think on those hard days, you love to snuggle in with Lego, right? And she's able to give you all that love that you need, right? And deserve. Yeah, I love that. And I love that you join along with meditations with me and breath work. And we do have to share that you are a prayer warrior. I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you feel called to share a prayer, I think the world needs to hear your prayers because you are always so fantastic in prayer.
Should we do one?
If you're feeling called to it and feeling comfortable about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
God, thank you for this day. Please help this. Please help us grow closer to you. Give us wisdom to spread the gospel and give us knowledge to help people who are in need. And thank you for my family. I'm very grateful for my family, my dog, my friends, And thank you that we can go to the school, this school called GCS, and we are very blessed to go there. And thank you for making us wealthy. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. That was beautiful. Thank you, Mateus, for sharing your prayer warriors. Now, so we talk a lot about big feelings in our home, recognizing those big feelings and learning the tools to navigate through them. What's one emotion that used to be hard to feel, and what do you do now when it comes up?
Embarrassment.
Embarrassment?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That one's a hard one.
Yeah. But now I'm just like, who cares what other people thinks?
Okay, that's good. So you've come kind of self-aware that was bothersome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how did you let that go? Do you just kind of let it go, take some deep breaths?
I'm just like, I don't care.
You don't care. So great. Well, I love that you can become self-aware that used to bother you, and now you're working through that and taking it lightly. I like that. Now, how do you manage your grief now? Like when you miss Dad, what do you do that's so helpful? Like that's helped you?
Reading, definitely, and playing with my dog.
Yeah, reading and playing with your dog when you're kind of feeling the grief. Now, do you find yourself sometimes just being able to talk to Dad, or send a prayer?
Send a prayer, yeah.
Yeah, for the strength.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I like that, Mateus. Now, okay, this will be our last question, and I want you to look just at that camera right there, and then I want you to visualize that 6-year-old boy that's just lost his dad, okay? And you're kind of speaking to him. So if you could talk to another kid who just lost someone they love, what you want them to know about grief, healing, and God?
God will give you what you need. Don't worry about anything else. Just keep on praying. Keep on believing in God. Keep on praying. Keep on believing in Him. And yeah.
Yeah, and then so you never feel alone, right?
Yeah.
And I like that message, Mateus. That's powerful. That's really good. And now one of our favorite gifts that we had been given, when Dad passed from our friend, was this book. And so our friend had created a book, and it has pictures so each kid, so Mateus has pictures of him and his dad in here, and also our friends have written down their favorite memories of Dad. So we want to read one of them here. And so one of them is, okay, so there's pictures of Mateus. He used to play basketball here in Alaska, and he had quite the game face. And their dad, Scott, had this picture on his Facebook profile for a really, really long time because he really loved it. So I don't know if we can show it or whatnot, but there's Mateus with his game face on. And he's about to start the game of basketball here. And here's the story. So your dad had this as his profile picture for some time. He was so impressed by your game face. We often talked about your natural strength. You have had muscles since you were born, it seems like. I think you get that from him. And it's so true. You've always been so strong and a great athlete, and Dad was so proud. I mean, we really could see those muscles showing off. I'm pretty sure you're only like 5 there. So that was a great memory. Well, Mateus, I just loved having you on here because I know you're such a light for me. You have been such a supporter and a light for me throughout my grief. And I just want to say that I'm grateful for you, for your love, and thank you for sharing your heart, because I know there's other kids out there that might feel alone like you guys felt alone when you lost your dad, and someone out there, you'll be shining a light for them, a light of hope. All right. Well, thank you, Mateus. Well, welcome, Sophia. I have my beautiful daughter over here, and it's such an honor that you felt it was actually, it was a funny story. I was podcasting today and I couldn't find babysitters. So I said, well, I'm bringing kids to work. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to have them on my podcast and seeing how they would feel about that. And they were both very excited because they would get to share with the world about their father. And also, not only that, they could be of service to other children that might feel alone after they have lost a loved one. So Sophia, welcome on my show.
Thank you, Mom.
So tell people your beautiful name and how old you are.
Okay, my name is Sophia Jolie Methvin, and Jolie in French means beautiful, so that it would be beautiful in English. And I am 11 years old.
Yes, perfect. Well, I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay, and just go with your heart on this one. What do you remember about Dad that you never want to forget?
Okay. So we were in, we were in Maui it was his last day, and I was with one of my best friends, Malia, and we were in Maui because we were on the island Lanai, and we went to the beach with them, and I remember going snorkeling. I had this big, face mask. It wasn't just one of those ones that you put in your mouth and you have the goggles. But my dad had these big goggles that I still have, and he didn't use one of the, so he could breathe. He was so tall, and he was, strong, and so his lungs were so big that he didn't have to wear that. So he was going down to the bottom and just, I remember him going like this, and he would blow bubbles, and then if you went like this in a heart, the bubbles would, follow the heart. And he did that while I was looking at him, and it was so fun to see him just enjoying it. Usually he didn't like the beach because it was so hot.
Yeah, Dad wasn't a big fan of, hot.
Yes, he liked the cold. His room was, I would step in there and be like, it's Antarctica, and they're like, no thanks. But then I also would sleep with him because it was so cold, and he had this big weighted blanket that was really heavy, but, it worked so well.
Yeah, and then when we were snorkeling, I remember you mentioning, didn't he swim all the way down to the bottom of the ocean? And what did he do?
Oh, he had the fish. Mm-hmm. They loved him.
Yeah, they did. And didn't he give you a big hug?
Oh, yes. But then I had to come right up because I couldn't stay under there for too long.
Yeah, that was so sweet.
But he was under there just, chilling, and then I was whoa.
He had big lungs. He was definitely a big swimmer, and he loved it.
Yeah, we went to Alyeska, and it's a skiing area, and there's this big pool. It's so long. And I remember he'd be like, okay, watch this. And we would race, but I would always lose. It was kind of annoying, but he would swim all the way there without breathing. And then he'd take one breath and swim all the way back. The pool was so long.
I love that. He was a great swimmer. That is a beautiful memory. Still one of my favorite too.
And I still love swimming too.
Yeah, you are a little fish. You are actually a mermaid. You are a mermaid. I can't get you out of the water or the ocean. I
know. That's why I'm so glad we have a pool here, because in Alaska we would buy those blow up pools. And we put them under the slide because you could lift up the slide at our tree house, and we would put it under, and then we would have to put little pillows underneath
I remember
it because the rocks were so they hurt when you would slide down. So we would invite friends over and we'd go in, but the thing was grass would get in the pool and be all dirty.
Yeah. Alaska is not
the best place.
A pool place.
Yeah.
A pool place, but hey, we may do, with my inflatable pools that I would buy.
Yeah.
Or a slip and slide, right?
Oh yeah, and we had this big hill that would go down, and I remember putting that down there, and it would go down to this big field, and my mom and me, we would do races. I would race her around the whole thing, or we would do tractor rides.
Yeah, that was so much fun. Mm-hmm. I love those memories. Can you tell us more about who Dad was, his personality?
Okay, he was so generous. You could never forget it. You would meet him, you would never forget it. I remember we were in Maui, and we were just at this hotel. We were swimming, and he meets this little, couple, and he didn't even know them, and he was like, hey, I'll buy you some drinks. Why not? And he would also, he would do, like, sometimes he would do free, like, fillings or something like that.
Yeah, free dentistry.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
His dentistry,
He did that a
yeah.
lot. Mm-hmm.
And he was so, like, you could just feel, like, you would go to another dentist and you would be like, I don't know, I'm kind of scared. But when you would, like, have my dad, Scott, and you would have him as your dentist, you were just, like, you could just feel his happy energy that he just wanted to fulfill, like, whatever you needed.
Yeah, he was a really good dentist. Actually, people I remember, because I worked there,
Yeah.
Patients are like, I was always so afraid to go to the dentist. Some people would fly in to come see Dad, or they drive hours to come see Dad because they were the only one where they could feel at peace and comfortable. And because I think he was like, even though he's 6'4", really big, he was like a gentle teddy bear, you know?
Yeah, it's like he looks so big and like it's so funny. I always imagine him like I'm like so strong and big, but then like when you actually get to know him, he's just like tiny little teddy bear. Like I have this teddy bear, Scott Jr. I dress him up. I have clothes for him. I sleep with him.
But tell how we have Scott Jr. Why do you have this teddy?
Okay, so at the hospital they gave us this little teddy.
Yeah.
And it was so cute in Maui. And they gave us this little bottle with a heart bead.
Yeah, his heartbeat.
And heartbeat and his thumbprint. And that's why I have Scott Jr. We got to name them. Mateus has one too. They look different, so you can tell. And Scott Jr., he has, right now, I'm pretty sure he's wearing little dinosaur pajamas. Because, sometimes I don't change his clothes. So he's just like chilling in my room.
Yeah, you bring him everywhere, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like that special. I thought the hospital, it was the organ donor specialist. He says, hey, we have these few things that we can do for the kids. And I thought, wow, I mean, it was really good. And I know for you guys having that little teddy and knowing that it was by your dad's side and even the little heartbeat.
Like if I don't have him when I'm sleeping, I'm always like scared. And like sometimes I'm like too scared. I don't even want to move. So I'm like staying still, but like, oh no. I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, so it's like
so when I have him, I'm just like holding him. But then I also sleep with my dog Mabel. I used to sleep with Rosebud. Rosebud sadly passed away.
Yeah, not too long. Like
January 3rd.
Yeah, January 3rd, a few days before your birthday. That was so sad because I know Rosebud, especially dogs, have been so healing for you.
Yes,
right?
Rosebud was a gift from like my dad. But, like, he always said, he was like, oh, no, she was so expensive. Like, he would always say, oh, no, he was, like, pretending to be mad. And he was like, no, like, I'm mad and stuff like that. But then Rosebud, and then he was the one who was so excited to get her, though.
Mm-hmm. Like, he was a dog lover.
Yes.
I mean, we had two big Newfoundlands before.
So
he
big.
was a big dog lover.
Like, I have a picture of me, my nose against the jack. And he's laying down, and he's, like, this big.
165 pounds.
And he's,
really
like,
long.
so long. And then this is me, a baby, putting my nose against his, and I'm, like, that small. And
they were gentle giants, though.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Kira, she was the best dog I've ever had. I would go in the snow. I would take one step. She would take one step. It was, like, she would follow me everywhere. She would make sure I'm safe.
Yeah, so do you think... when you lost your dad,
Rosebud.
Was it Rosebud?
Because Rosebud was with Dad. Sometimes I would be in my room and I would sleep, and then I'd be like, wait, where's Rosebud? And then I would go into my dad's room, and I would see him, Rosebud on the bed. He's sleeping right next to her. And I'm like, Dad, you stole my dog. Like, come on.
So probably losing Rosebud. I mean, I was genuinely... shocked because it was very instant.
4.
She was only 4. Everything happened so fast.
And
Still
I was
very
gone
confusing.
too.
Yeah.
I was with my friend.
You were in Flagstaff.
Yeah.
And with some friends, and I was like, how am I gonna break this news? I was devastated, and I truly thought this would break you, you know?
But when I came home, I remember opening the door, I was like, oh no, I better open it slightly, because Lego and Rosebud, I was like, Rosebud's gonna come, and I was like, oh, and Lego, yeah. And then I opened the door, and Miss Jessica was like, she just smiled and looked at me very softly, but I was like, I didn't really know what was like going on. Come in, and I'm like, everybody's sad. And I could just feel the energy. I had some balloons, like happy 11th birthday. But it was just heartbreaking to see her go.
Yeah, especially that she was there for such, a hard time for you when you lost dad, and it broke my heart to break that news to you, and I know you still miss her.
I do.
Yeah, I know you do, and we did get. I know pets. You're an animal lover.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we went to this store, and we were like, oh, we're just gonna look, it's fine. And there was this amazing dog by himself in this little room. He was just looking with his big eyes, like that big. He was just like, he was all by himself because his siblings were all like getting petted. And like people were looking at them and he was all by himself. And I was like, sad.
Yeah.
But then he looked so cute. So I asked, he was all scared. His tail was like in between his legs and he was like, and then I started like petting him and holding him. He was the first dog I looked at. We didn't look at any other dogs. I was like, okay, there's two names that I want, Maple or Waffles. And the lady at the store, it was called Puppies in Love. And the lady there was like, oh, if you do Waffles, you can say like, when people are holding your dog, let go of my ego. And I thought that was so funny. And I was like, oh, I'm going to name him just because of that. But then on the collar that I picked out, there was a like Canadian flag. And I was like, that's definitely, or like a maple leaf.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is Maple. Like,
yeah.
And so we printed out his name tag and it was so cute.
It was so cute, but I felt so torn. I'm like, oh, is it too soon to buy a dog?
Because it was like 2 days after.
Not letting her grief, but in the same time, I changed my perspective after that. I said, no, I love that your heart was open to love again a dog, because that was so heartbreaking for you. And for a lot of people, they wouldn't be open to loving, to open their hearts again.
To another one
right away. So I shifted my perspective and saying, no, that you weren't scared to love again, and you opened up your heart to another dog. And he's been so cute. I mean, he's a little cockapoo. He's like 10 pounds.
I know. My grandma, I think she, like Mamie, I think she steals him.
I think she's fallen in love with him too.
I know. She always said, she was like, oh, Rosebud Noah. No, she's a dog. No. But then she would be like, she would be talking to her like she would be like working and she would be like, what do you want, you little lion? Because when Rosewood would walk around when Mimi was cooking, she would walk around and just look at her like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then Mimi would be like, what do you want, you little lion? You're so cute. Oh, do you want food? What do you want? But then now she does that with Maple. And oh my gosh, I walked into her house like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, because Mimi is my mom, and she lives with us, but it's a detached casita, so she lives. The kids are always there.
She was playing this French music like doo 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 doo.
Oh yeah, she likes her French.
And so
she's French.
She was holding Maple like a baby. Maple was like looking like, what the heck is she doing to me? And she was going
with Maple.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And spinning around and just like looking at her. Or him, and it was so funny.
I know, but she claims to not be a dog lover. No. But I think she does
and
have a soft spot.
She doesn't like letting dogs in her bed. She's like, Maple, come on, let's go.
No.
And Maple will sit and look at her and be like, she'll be like, oh, okay, you can come.
I love that. This is so funny, but so true about my mom.
Yeah.
So now here's another one. Okay, what did Dad love? What was his favorite things?
He loved swimming. I remember when we were on the swings. It was like 2 pushes with his big hands. He would go 1, 2, or even just 1 push. And when you're on the swing and you have it's like the little bumps because you're so high. That's what happens.
Yeah, and then I couldn't watch because I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh no, your face was always like.
It's like too much. But yeah, his big hand, whoosh, and then you guys would go flying. Ah! I love that memory.
Yeah.
And then, what was he really good at?
Oh, he was so good at golf. I remember it was 100 acres, and he could be all the way in the trees. It would be 10, 5, or 20, 30, 40, and it would go up all the way to 100. And he would be one swing, and it would be out in the trees.
Yeah, he told me actually he could have gotten a scholarship to play golf in college, but yeah.
But he didn't take it.
No. Well, he ended up going to different
mission.
dental school, so yeah, that's what he did. So now, do you ever feel Dad's spirit around you?
I do, yes. Mm-hmm. I remember the day or the night that he passed, or I remember. Well, I don't remember it. My mom does, but she remember. Okay, so we were in my nanny and papa's little condo, and I was like, oh my gosh! And there was a painting right by. We were all three in a bed. It was like a little uncomfortable, but we were like so shocked that we all wanted to stay together. Mm-hmm. So I look on my side because I sleep on my side. So I was on the side and I was like, what, the painting's falling. So I got up to go fix it. And then I don't remember anything else than saying, the painting's falling. And then what happened?
Well, yeah, you were sleeping. You were dead asleep, and so was Mateus. I couldn't sleep, so I have both of you guys under my arms, and I see you literally being lifted.
Yeah, I was going like...
You didn't stand up. You literally, there was a force that brought you up, and you went like this, like you were hugging Dad.
I went like this, and okay, so I always said, I tried to like put my finger, so I would always go like this and try to touch.
But you don't even remember. I remember asking you the next morning, and you were like, I'm like, do you remember that? And you're like, no. And so, yeah, you were still, and then you laid back down, and that was it. And
then I snapped out of it, but I remember being like, looking at the painting, like, that was weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there another story that sometimes that Dad's there? Or
the TV story.
The TV story. Yeah, the TV story that we share with Mateus.
Oh, my vanity. I love my vanity. It's awesome because the little light on it, I can use it when I'm doing like my makeup or like I'm taking off my makeup or just washing my face or something like that. When I was like sleeping, I turned it off and it starts, and I was with my Mammy, and because my grandma lays down with me, and the light starts flickering, going on and off, and so I get up and I'm like turning it off, and it will not stop. So and then I unplug it and it stops, and every time I'm like, maybe it'll work this time. So I plug it back in, it still flickers. Like, it's still, it's like broken.
So those little signs that we have, is that comforting for you? Like, just knowing that he's still there?
It is comforting, but sometimes it's a little scary. It's like, whoa, what the heck? Like, yeah. But then also I'm like, okay, well, like, it's Dad, like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, becoming more normalized now. In the beginning, it was a little,
Mm-hmm. In the beginning, it was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm going up to Mom's room. I'm too scared. Or I was at like my at the cabin. I think it was that night that Rosebud passed. Cause I came back on like the 4th, and on the 3rd we were doing this big game night, but we watched Wicked, and there was this big heavy like they still had their Christmas stuff up. And so the Christmas tree had this big little, like, snowflake hanged on it, and it, like, literally flew off. Like, it was, like, all the way across the room or something like that. It flew off. Yeah. And it was so crazy.
That is crazy, right? Yeah. We'll probably keep seeing things like that. Yeah. And then more, then we'll be like, okay, you're just making yourself known.
Okay, Dad, we understand.
Yeah. Well, that's why I always try to teach you guys, like, Dad is not here physically, and we miss that. But you can always, he's there. He can hear you. You can ask him questions, like ask him to give you little signs, or, he's always there to give you that love, you know. And, okay, so... I think we kind of covered this a little bit, but what was one thing that really helped your heart on hard days?
Definitely my dog.
Your dog. What would be the second runner-up?
Cold plunging was always my favorite because I love the water. Mm-hmm. My dad did too. Yeah. So I would go in the water, and I remember we were going to the Princess, And that's where we went the first time when we moved here. A wonderful place. We went there for Christmas. And I remember, and after Rosebud passed, we went there, just me and my mom. And when we went there, like, it was so magical too. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah, it is so magical. I remember the first year we moved here, first Christmas, and I was like, oh, okay, it's just my mom had been here and just the four of us. And I knew the first of everything, like first Thanksgiving, first Christmas, everything at first was so hard. And I just wanted to just kind of not be so much in a busyness, like fill up our house with so many people to avoid the feel. So I actually didn't plan a lot of things for Christmas. I just knew to just be with us, to just move through all the emotions we were going to feel. Yeah. And then, but I do remember planning going one day. Somebody had told me about the Christmas princess. And it's exactly what we all needed because it was so beautiful. Magical, the lights and so magical. And I think we all needed that.
Yeah, the ice rink, I remember my favorite. Like, if like there was not like an ice rink, it was just that feeling of Alaska. Yeah. Like, oh, my friend Grayson in Alaska, she was so nice. Her grandma or her aunt or something. Aunt, yeah, she bought our house. Yes. And she still lets me go in the house whenever I'm there. She's like, oh, come and see the house. Okay, so this is so nice that she did this. What's her name?
Oh, that bought our house? I forget. I know. But Laura is the name of Grace's mom, but I forget. I forget, but that's okay. But, it is very nice that they allow you. And then when I heard that you went back to her home, because I haven't been back, I was like, wow, how that must have felt like to walk through our home.
It's so cool because I can see they still have my room is still there because they have 2 boys and they took Mateus's room. And so I went and I saw my room and I still have my little like book nook. I only had that for a little bit because my mom was too scared to put like the ladder because she didn't want me to fall off.
Well, you guys were really little. Yeah. And that was really high.
Yeah, it was so high. It was like up, like way up there. So my dad, I would ask him, I would bring a little bell and he would lift me up there and I would push myself up there. And when I wanted to get down, because I couldn't by myself, I would ring the little bell and he would come and be like, yes, my dear, come down. And he would bring me down, and I felt like a little princess.
That's so sweet. I think, isn't that important that you can go back to our home? And I think I love being able to go back to the dental office and seeing how it hasn't changed. We still see all the staff that are like family up there.
And then, like, it's so fun because, like, I still get to go behind the desk and be like,
I know that was one thing you asked. Oh my gosh, now that we sold it, we're still allowed to go behind the desk and why?
I know. I was like, if we're not allowed to go, I don't know.
But yeah, I love that those things we can still go back and those memories that brought us so much memories that we can still go back when we go to Alaska.
Do you mind reading the question one more time?
Yeah.
So I can think about
well, I think you answered it, but I'll ask. Okay, we talk a lot of, you had talked about cold plunging, how that's really healing, that you do love water. I mean, you can cold plunge so well. We go to reconnect mind, body.
I was like, now I have to remember the story again. Okay, so we were going there and the pool is like freezing cold. And I'm like going in there with my bathing suit and I think I stayed in there for like, Mateus was like watching me. Well, he came out for a little bit and he set the timer for like 30 minutes or 25 minutes. And I stayed in there for like at least 25 minutes. And my grandma was always like, oh, no, you might get like frostbite or something. But I was like, no, it's not that cold. And so I was swimming around and I was just playing. But every time I swam, I moved, it was like getting colder and colder. But so I would go in there and I was in there for like 30 minutes and we come out. And by the time it was like 7:30 or 8 and we were going to the Princess that night, so I would have to stay awake. But it was like 7:30 or 8 or something. I was tapped out. I was so tired.
Yes, but I feel like when you've got lots of emotions, like being in the water can give you something.
Takes those like emotions and like brings back like.
Yeah, you can kind of release something to the water that's, you've been holding on. And I feel like water is very therapeutic for you. Absolutely. Now, How do you manage your grief now? Like when you have these thoughts of dad that are kind of heavy and sad, like, or Rosebud and dad, what do you do now?
The water still.
The water still.
It's
yeah.
always the water. I haven't been in the water in a little bit because.
Well, we were just in the ocean.
Well,
like,
yes,
yeah,
I love the ocean. The ocean
yeah.
is my favorite. When I was little, I used to talk to the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be like,
Actually, the days after we lost dad, because we were in Maui,
Mhm.
I remember you walking the beaches at nighttime. We'd walk the beach, and you would sing to the ocean. You'd sing. And I always see that right now. You sing, and I think singing is also a great outlet for you.
great for me because it's like my grandma has a little microphone and it's just like this. It's like I go in there and I play songs on the TV so I can read the lyrics, but it doesn't have like somebody singing in it. And I just sing, and then Maple always comes to me and is like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
But and I would sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I love too, that we keep celebrating dad, right? We celebrate his birthday. We even, honor him the day he passed every year. And then at Christmas, we just put a little setting for him, definitely still have pictures of him. Keeping him alive, I think is important for you guys to normalize being able to talk about him, right?
Yeah.
And I think you are very good at telling other people about him and sharing stories. And I think that's important, right?
Every person I know, it's like first time we see them, it's always like, oh yeah, my dad, like blah 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 and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
like
it's
talking
good that
about
you feel
all of
comfortable about it.
Yeah,
though.
like art is always like, it's just that free space that we get. It's like recess, but like we get to talk to each other.
That's good.
And you get to talk to people that you like don't like usually talk to. Like it's always like 2 boys and 2 girls, or like the opposite or something like that. And it's always, you get to like talk to somebody that you don't know that well.
That's good.
And then it's like you know things about other people and you laugh, and
yeah,
that
so
art
just
is
to
always,
be able to talk. So you are very good at communicating. I think it's important to be able to talk to others about your dad. I think that's very healing. So now I want you to look at this camera, and I want you to pretend you're talking to an 8-year-old girl that has just lost her dad, okay? And I want you to tell to her, and they just lost someone they love. What would you want them to know about grief, healing, God, or just a message that you would tell her?
Well, just to know that you're not alone, because there's many other people that I don't even know, and like you don't want to push yourself under the rock, or that feeling where you just like, no, I have to like be so busy that like you're just like, you can't focus on it. You need to like, with me, I want to be busy. I don't want to pay attention to everything. But now, like, that's the thing. I always listen to like music that's more like where I can just like, it's more like pumped up music and stuff like that. But when I listen to that music that's more calming, all my thoughts rush through my head. But then I can like close my eyes and like think that I'm not alone, and I know that there's many people out there that like feel alone. But just to know that like there's other kids there is so like nice, because then if I meet one of them, it's like you know the same feeling as me, so like we can talk to each other and we feel like the pain that we had. And just to know that we always are loving, and to stay kind to people, and when you're sad, don't push people away. You want to invite them in.
Wow. See, you are such a light, both of you, and this is why I wanted you here today, because I wanted to go with your heart, and look what you say. Look at what you say, and the impact that you will have. You will never know how many people you'll touch, but I know you will touch many with your message, Sophia, and you are such a light, and I see that in you, and I want you to never forget that, to trust your intuition, those little whispers,
Yeah.
because you have a gift. You are gifted.
We were at the zoo like 2 days ago.
Yeah, a few days ago.
A few days ago.
In
And
California.
my mom was like, like what the carts have like little, or like
The little gondolas.
the
So
gondola.
there's a gondola.
And there's like numbers on them, and they're all mixed up. It's not like it goes 1, 2, 3. They're all mixed up. And my mom was like, so what number do you think? Like I think my brother said 23, but that was the one right before. And I was like, the first one was 13, because 13, I love 13. Some people say it's unlucky, but
hey, I was born on Friday the 13th, so
yeah,
it's been lucky.
Yeah. And it's just like I was like, okay, let's do 13 and 22, because those numbers are those are my favorite numbers. Or I do like 7, but 13 is my favorite. And we came around, and there you go, it was 13.
The gondola was 13. So here's I'm trying to teach my kids to manifesting, to really visualize and believe their dreams. So I've been playing around with them, saying, okay, let's think what number is going to come up. And then I also taught her, because she picked 13, and then she said, well, no, maybe 22. And I said, see, Sophia, always go with your first pick. That's from the heart. That's those little whispers. And then she got the 13.
What is his name? He gives us like
Oh, Dr. Larry.
the guy that like gives us the supplements or something.
Yeah, Dr. Larry. Yeah.
He's energy.
Yes, he's
is
all
the
about
best.
energy. Yes.
And I'm
Because
so
we
amazed.
have been dealing with like mold and parasites. So we went to see this healer, and he's
so
fantastic.
amazing.
Yes.
It's like the way that he thinks, like he takes like a pen and he like makes a little noise with it, and he just thinks about it. And
Because we're all energy.
yeah,
right?
he's like, if I had to pick a favorite person that wasn't my mom, like it would definitely be him.
Yeah, I need to have him on the show.
Yes,
I could listen to him forever. I talk to him forever when we go for appointments.
It was a little annoying because it's like supposed to be an hour, and it was like 2 hours. But like, and my mom was like, "Oh wait, can I record you?"
Because everything, it's like food for me. I just love the way he explained things, and I was trying to navigate. Of why do we have these parasites? Why the heavy mold, the heavy metals?
Amazing.
So it's been a journey for us. That'd be a whole other episode.
And it's like a goal. Like it's like my goal. Like I want to try like to be like him. I look up to him, and I can see like, oh wow, like he's really like intuitive, and he's in like he doesn't like care like other people say this. He just knows.
Yes.
And he knows he's not gonna second guess himself. He's like, okay, I know this, and like he's not like, oh wait, actually it might be this number. Like he just knows.
Yeah.
It's just so cool.
Yeah, that was powerful.
First time I met him, I was like, first I was a little nervous. I was like, but then I was also really excited because I got taken out of school like an hour early. But I was nervous. And then once we stepped in, he was like, hi, and like we started talking. I couldn't even feel that feeling. I couldn't like dig deep and be like, oh, here, my feeling is here. No, like it was gone.
Yeah, that's so good that he can do that. You see, I always think those people show up for me in my kids' life as little mentors that plant little seeds. And I know that day he needed to plant that seed for you, even though I tell you all the time, your intuition, all the stuff, but he really saw that in you.
He really like, my mom always tells me, but like, she's a mom. Like moms like do that. It's just like what moms do. But with him like telling me that when he's so intuitive, it's like so cool.
Yeah, and I hope that made you believe in yourself even more.
Yeah.
Right? So, well, Sophia, I just loved having you on here. I have no doubt it's not going to be the last time. And let's read. We have a little books, that we were gifted with stories about their dad. And this is definitely another one of our favorite. It was Amy and Drew.
Amy Pickens.
Yeah, Amy Pickens. That's right.
Yes. Okay. She said, when I moved to Alaska the first time, I moved into Scott's house where he and Drew were living together. I moved in along with my little dog, Chloe. Chloe was a little 10-pound silky terrier that wasn't well trained. Oh, that's Maple right now. He's like, oh, tell the story when you were going to the bathroom, Maple came and he just was like, oh, you're going to the
Oh
bathroom?
yeah, he's been peeing. He's just squirting everywhere right now. This is why I was very concerned about having a male dog.
Yes.
Okay, continue the story, so we can follow that story.
At the time, she was 4 years old, but still peed and pooped in the house. She was a loyal dog to me, but not friendly with most people. I was nervous about bringing her along because I didn't want Scott to have to put up with her, along with Drew's 2 dogs that already lived there. But Scott welcomed Chloe so generously. He's so generous.
He is, once again.
Then, the day I moved in, Drew told me that his 2 dogs were expecting puppies. I was told, I was so surprised and honestly a little frustrated that he waited until then to tell me. I had no idea how to take care of a brand new baby puppy, let alone a litter of them. But Drew's dogs had puppies one other time while he was living with Scott, which meant that they knew what to expect. Can you believe that your dad let his 2 guest set of puppies live in his house? That sure was a lot to ask. Well, puppies came and there was 9 of them. Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
That is a lot
Little
of puppies.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so cute. I watched them being born in the garage of the house in a little like pool, like one of those like plastic kiddie pools.
That's right.
There's a picture. You can see the kiddie pool, or
I know, it's so cute.
in the back, right there. That meant that altogether there was 12 dogs at my dad's house. That was a lot of dogs, but your dad was so easygoing, he didn't complain at all. I think he may have even liked it. The puppies lived in our garage inside of a little baby pool for like several weeks. One was so small that it had to be hand-fed with a bottle.
Oh,
so cute. Meanwhile, little Chloe couldn't keep it together. She was in a new town, a new house, and living with these new dogs. She was a little out of sort, to say it nicely. One morning, we rose to find that she had pooped right in front of my dad's door. And he stepped barefooted right into it. When we came out of his room that day, I heard him exclaim with surprise. And I winked, very embarrassed. I waited, very embarrassed and ashamed that my dog was proving to be such a bad guest at his home. But Scott was very kind, and he didn't make me or Chloe feel bad about it. The year prior had been a small litter of 6 puppies that Drew and Scott raised before. They were old enough to find them homes. One night, the puppies had all gotten out of the garage. Oh my gosh. Even though I read the story so many times, it's still like, oh my gosh.
I know, and it was like middle of winter.
Yeah,
so
and it's like cold outside, and it's dark too. It was pretty dark, and we had 50 acres, so like it's a big property, and the neighbors are like pretty far, but like pretty dark. Drew and Dad mobilized quickly and started on a mission to find the puppies. One by one, they brought them home. Scooped them up with great relief, but one, that is. They both struggled home, and tired and defeated, that only one little guy was lost somewhere in a cold night all by himself. That's sad.
I know.
Well, to their surprise, and might I say relief, the next morning the neighbor was on their porch with their missing little golden retriever puppy. A little guy had wandered into their house that was being built next door and had curled up asleep on their wooden floor on a chilly Alaskan fall night. Scott and Drew were so relieved that he had survived and been found. This story is one example of how caring and generous your dad was. He invited his friends and 18 other dogs to live at his house, at his nice house, make all sort of messages, and he kept his smile on his face and generously in his heart. And he was a very good friend and always someone you could count on to help when you needed it. Amy Pickens.
Amy Pickens. That's one of my favorite stories, too. I remember because we just had bought the house, but I had gone to dental hygiene school. And then so Drew's like, well, I'll move in till Melissa comes back. And then Amy moved up to Alaska, too. So then they were all in the house before I was. And then that was some of the stories. Well, that was so pretty. Well, thank you so much, Sophia.
Yeah.
And then we'll be able to take some pictures and put them out there as well to share the beautiful book that our friends had created, Tish and everybody,
Kaiser
and Matt,
and
Kaiser and Kaina, that we miss so much, all
I
our
know.
Alaska friends. But okay, until next time, I know I'll have you on again.
All right.